And away we go. Get your free microwaves at the air show. This tree is growing lamps. How odd. It's a cedar. You don't expect that from behavior out of a cedar. That's not funny. What are you talking about, you weirdo? Alright, talking to myself again, but who else can I trust? There's a song that goes to that, but it's not really appropriate at the moment, so. Moving right along. Come out of there. Ow, that hurts. Go up there. Okay. One more. It's kind of cold with that wind blowing. Okay. And this shall be. And with its trust, its old age, and its wisdom, it whispers, no, this will be the last. And the wind cries, Mary. And the airplane approaches. Lots of flights to do over your homes these days. Lots of airplane work to be done on these parts. If it's been neglected too long, we're going to have to fly airplanes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, probably for the rest of your life, just to try and catch up with all the damage that's been done by man-made climate change. We're going to have to spray real hard over here to protect the earth from the people that live here. Just take one for the team, everybody. Enjoy your cancer. You deserve it. Welcome to freedom. We're setting you free. Don't you want to be free from all your cares and worries forevermore? This is the land of freedom, remember? And freedom isn't free, so you gotta pay for that shit. Now pay up, or you're going to jail, sucker. Remember, don't forget to vote. See, voting matters. We need your consent for some reason to do what we do. So when you vote, you elect people to make these decisions for you, and then you don't have nothing to bitch about when they make those decisions. Now, sometimes they make bad decisions. I mean, all the time they make bad. No. Sometimes they do something good, but you know, if there's people in the government and they're doing stuff good, well, they get rid of them real quick. Those are the ones that get assassinated or something along those lines. It's sad case, but that just seems to be the way it is. This is purely speculation, of course. None of this is based on anything other than, you know, my broad sweeping assumptions, you know. But anyway, I digress. That's not what the video is about. Back to the mud. 150 degrees. It's warm. Okay. Come on, get the steam out of here. Maybe if I close it a little. Probably not. Oh yeah, I threw some screens, some sifters in there. Brothers and sifters. Oh. Yeah, right. 153, that was right there. It's probably 163 down there. Just an inch or two. Over here. this one in here right now. I'll just set it over there. Oh yeah. Also, this is probably the biggest innovation with the new tub. I'm pioneering a new science here. No, not really, but I'm trying to, make use of some known science and that sort of stuff, and maybe perhaps learn some things on the way. And I don't think there's anything that hasn't been known before, but it may be not known by most about earth grounding, right? This is a copper tube, and it's stuck way in the dirt down there, down to where the soil is moist. Now, when you're earth grounding, you're putting, generally, people seem to maybe only do it in the summertime, and they do it when it's, warm, and they're possibly wearing shorts. I guess they might sit on the grass or the dirt and do a little bit of earthing that way with their hands or their feet touching it. And it's good because our hands and our feet seem to be a depository for a lot of the toxins in our environment that we end up with. They seem to migrate to the hands and feet, and that probably leads to the nail issues that I personally am having, and I have a feeling that that's connected. And it's said that the things that are toxic, there's different stages of toxic. I guess that's a different talk. Maybe I'll get back to it. It's said that things that are toxic are generally or always positively charged. And so I didn't study more on that, but my understanding of electronics and electricity leads me to conclude that, at least somewhat, that it's the electrical charge of the toxic thing. I mean, it's positively charged, and we're a ground, or excuse me, what I meant to say is that relative to that positive charge, we're a ground. And so when the toxin enters our biosphere, to quote an Eileen McCusick term, which I highly recommend her channel and all of her stuff there. I want to get some tuning forks, or find some, or borrow some, or something. I can't afford to go buy some right at the moment, but when I'm able to. But she does biofield tuning, and basically it's the aura, that it's evidence. It's just more evidence that the aura is a real thing that exists. That's not acknowledged or understood by many or any. Definitely not by our mainstream westernized medical corporations. Did you know corporations have part of their charters is that the corporation cannot do anything that will reduce its profits? It must create profit at any period of time. It's supposed to be creating more profit than loss. It's like written in the laws. And a corporation, being not a person, can do anything unscrupulous because, it's not the person doing it. There's no people doing these things. A corporation isn't a person. A corporation is a company. Is this what the corporation compartmentalization is, and what it sounds like to me? I'm not part of a big killing machine or anything that's destroying the world and telling people that it's their fault. I'm just helping, I work in the mailroom at ExxonMobil. What am I doing wrong? I just work for the government. I'm just doing my duty. Ho, 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 said every soldier who ever was involved in a genocide. You know what soldier means? Where the word soldier came from? Well, neither do I, but I'm going to speculate. Sold is an old word, I'm quite sure. It's been around for a while. Sell, sold, selling, sailing. Sailing, that's where sailing and sailing. Like, if you were sailing a boat, you'd be sailing in the ocean, you would be sailing in saline water. Meaning there's salt in it. Saline. Come on, saline. Okay, anyway. I didn't get much mud on there. So, corporations. are bad. Okay, shouldn't work for corporations. Corporations are bad. If you work for a corporation, you're bad because corporations are bad. Okay. I don't know what dead speaking has to do with business anyway. If you're dead, you shouldn't be in the business. Okay. Dead people are not involved in businesses. They shouldn't be involved in our decision making or our voting processes. Okay. Okay. Look at that mug. Yummy. That's some clay-rich mud right there. So, back to the toxins. Toxin, that's dirty talking, is positively charged, and our body is an environment. And in our environment, we're the ground. That's why it's important for us, coming from this environment, to connect ourselves to that ground. Because believe it or not, even though we're not like a tree's right there, tree rooted to the ground, we are still part of the environment and are still connected to it and need to be for electrical reasons. This is just, I'm talking electricity still. This is not spiritualism. It's not new age nonsense. It's not, anything but my personal experience. And, some of the things I've heard of, my whole life that have been known for thousands of years that people have done for whatever reasons, various, they would say spiritual practices, but sometimes spiritual practices were for health benefits. They were, to cleanse them or heal them. And that seems to be lost on people nowadays, and lost on our medical establishment for sure. So anyway, I'm saying is I can't afford to go to the doctor and get their fancy treatments. And I don't trust them, so I wouldn't do that anyway. And I definitely would never let them stick a needle in me anywhere, anyplace, anytime, for any reason. That's a different subject. The needle, to me, is a portal. It's a demon portal. That's how they introduce, new demons into people. Through the portal of the needle into your vein, which is also a saline solution. And saline is a crystal, salt crystals. And your blood is like a colloidal mixture of a lot of things. That's what a colloidal means, but different metals and different amounts, and it's a stew of things, and all of that is every crystal is conductive in some way. It has this lattice structure to it, and energy, that whole idea of energies and crystals, it's not like something, some chick on acid made up in the 60s. It actually is based on a real thing. And so anyway, the blood's the colloidal mixture of metals and mixed in this your bodily fluid there, and it resonates. All of those crystals have a resonance frequency, and that's pretty complex frequency if you think about how many different individual crystal pieces might be floating through your bloodstream. That's a whole lot of little antennas in there for different frequencies and different wavelengths, different whatever, all that stuff. Anyway, so that's where the us that we think we are resides, in my opinion. From what I've looked at and researched thus far, that's where I'm leaning towards. I won't put all my eggs there in one basket, like Matt would say on Quantum of Conscience, but that's what I'm leaning towards. Now, what was I leaning towards besides this freaking piece of wood? The mud gets really, it's stuck at the bottom, but I suppose if I put the flashlight down, I could probably get a little more leverage on it. Alright, I'm rambling on. So, back to the mud. So, the earth grounding. The earth is a much better ground source than the person. Its environment is much larger. Wouldn't you say the earth is much larger than you are? Most people would agree with that. Some might not. And, well, in the biblical sense, and probably other religious beliefs too. We were made from the mud and the soil, like, you know. God scooped some dirt up and he spit in his hand and rolled it into a little ball and then shaped a man and then put him down here and said, okay, be alive. And then that was so, right? I'm not saying that I'm putting all my eggs in that basket, but, you know, that's what the story is. That's all I'm saying. If we're made out of the elements that are from the earth, and we're part of the environment of the earth, and because we're one of the things that lives here, and we weren't some sort of, you know, alien hybrid transplant like they're trying to push on History Channel and whatever, Science Channel probably, the make-believe space and all that. So anyway, we're made of clay, and the grounding is the charge being removed. When the earth grounding is the benefit from it is the charge. It's the positive charge excess that will build up in your body, which will deteriorate health in many ways. Not just one thing will happen, a myriad of things can happen depending on your physiology and your environment and your diet and all of those kind of things. Your environment plays a lot to do with it, and your diet definitely, and you know, and drink and habits and all of those things are going to affect everybody to a different degree. And it's a wild card of, you know, what might develop as a problem because of this positive charge of all these toxins, but it is a guarantee that something is going to become a problem eventually, if not, you know,